What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 25 of the How to Code a Spigot plugin for 1.15 series. Last episode, we talked all about the scoreboard, and this is the scoreboard we created right to the right side of the screen to where it updates like every second and it shows like a different animation. Today's episode, we're talking about all about this boss bar up here, and the goal for this boss bar in this plugin is to be really similar to the scoreboard we created last time, to where I see in like a hub or like a lobby kind of place to where you can display a message like join this, like thank you for joining the server, or shop, look at our store, we have a new sale, something like that. That's the image for this plugin, and as you see, it updates every 30 seconds. The boss bar goes down and then the new message appears. To create this boss bar, it's really similar to the scoreboard, to where we have like a runnable. From like last episode, we have a runnable, and that updates the progress of the bar every single second, or I have it right here, every single tick it updates. Now, good thing is, the way I designed this boss bar, we only need one runnable, and basically we're just adding players every time they join to that boss bar. So, without further ado, let's get into it. In your Eclipse or whatever IDE you're using, go ahead and create a new project, and let's call this let's call it Lobby Boss Bar. I'm going to press next, and I'm going to add in that spigot jar. Now, the code I'm using for this tutorial is similar to the code that I have in one of my public plugins called an advanced announcement. And I found out that the boss bar API we're about to use doesn't work at 1.8. There's a different method you have to use. So the API I'm about to use works in 1.9 through up to 1.15, and of course other versions, hopefully. So we'll create that first package, and this is going to be me.yourname, the name of the project. Now, if you have a website, you can use the name of the website, and then the name of the project. But I don't have a website, so it's going to be me.codedred.the lobby boss bar. Once you create that package, go ahead and create the first class we're going to need, and that's the main class. Inside the main class, you'll need to extend Java plugin, as well as create the onEnable and onDisable. Now, everything our boss bar is going to need and use, it will be handled in this bar class that we're about to create. And then whenever someone joins a server, we'll throw in a onJoin event soon. OnDisable. Oops, sorry. Forgot to put the voids in there. Alright, so once you have that in your main class, we can go ahead and create another class, and this is going to be our bar class. This is where we're going to handle the runnable, as well as creating that bar and adding players to it. So, the first thing I want to create is a few variables. They're all going to be private, so we're going to create a private int, and that's going to be called the task ID, set equal to -1. We've talked about the task ID before in many episodes. It's basically just the number that our runnable corresponds to. Next, we create a final plugin, which is our main plugin, as well as a private boss bar called bar. Go ahead and create that constructor, and that constructor, of course, you'll need to pass in a main plugin, so we can set this.plugin equal to plugin. Go ahead and import bossbar, and this is the import for bossbar right there. Once you have that imported, we're going to throw in two different methods real quick. And one is going to be called a public void add player, and this is going to take in a player. And just inside of this method right here, all we're going to do is this is how we're going to add the player to the bar. Make sure you import player, and we're going to say bar.addPlayer. Add player. And then the second one is be public boss bar, and this will be called get bar, and this is just going to return the bar. So the first method right here is how we're going to add the players to the boss bar. Basically, when they join the server, we're just going to get that boss bar and add them to it. This second one right here, get bar, is to see when the server's reloading to see how many players are on it, and then get that bar back. I'll explain this later on in the episode, but there's two more important methods we need to create, and the first one is this actually create bar. So this public void create bar will create our boss bar for us. And to create a boss bar, it's super simple. Let me scroll down a little bit. It's super simple. All we have to do is set bar equal to bucket dot create boss bar. And right here you can see the 4 different things we need to pass in, and I'm actually only going to pass in 3 things. I'll explain that in a second, but we just set bar equal to this boss bar, so make sure you have it created up here. So the first thing right here is the title. This, of course, is a custom title. You can put whatever you want. Is this basically the starting title? You're going to change it later on once the time runs down. But right now, let's set it as a starting title, which I'm going to use chat color, translate alternate color codes. And actually, let's go ahead and remove that. Remove all that. I'm going to show you guys something that I do, that a lot of people do, that makes life a lot easier. And we're going to say private string format, string message, and we're going to return chat color dot translate alternate color codes message. So if you don't already do this, this is a really nice way to get that translate alternate color codes in without having to type that every single time. Basically, this method allows us to do, for the title, we can just say format, and then now we can use those color codes. It's just a nice shortcut. I usually throw this into my main class and have it through my plugin right there. But it's just a really nice shortcut just to get that color codes in your titles and such. So our title is just going to say, whatever you want to say. I'm going to say sub to coded red. And then the color. Now, this isn't just a chat color that we have to use. This is a boss bar color. It has their own color thing, their own color API. So we're typing boss. Maybe it's bar color. Yeah, bar color dot, and you'll see all different colors that you can choose from. Now be very careful when you're about doing this. There's 2 different imports on here. And let me zoom in so I can see it better. There's 2 different imports. As you can see, there's the or.bucket.boss.barColor. And then there's the net.minecraft.server. If you remember NMS, that's a pain in the ass, and we don't want to deal with that right now. We're going to deal with these normal API imports. Now, if you are running 1.8, you probably want to do the NMS way and get that done. But we're going to do the normal way, and we're going to import. Let's make this, we use C, so let's make it red. So once we have that color in, we need the style. And once again, this is its own API. It's a bar style. And you type in what style you want. Again, there's 2 different imports for here, and only one will work with this API. It'll be this one right here, the or.bucket.boss.barStyle, not the NMS one. So there is 5 different styles we choose from here, segmented and all this other blocks and stuff. I usually just pick solid, and I make my own kind of segmented blocks. Finally is the flags, and we're not going to be using flags in this tutorial, but if you type in bar flag dot, you'll see the different flags that you can choose from. Like I said, we're not going to use flags because we're not really creating this mob bar. We're just creating a normal boss bar. So once this bar is created, we need to do one more thing, and that's bar.setVisible. Visible to true. Next up is our actual class, and this is going to be the class that changes that boss bar. And like I said, it's going to be a runnable. It's going to be a public void. I'm going to call it cast. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it cast. Inside this, we're going to set that task ID equal to bucket.getScheduler. .schedule, and I'm going to use the schedule sync repeated task right here. This takes in 4 different arguments, and the first argument will have to be a reference to your main class where you're extending that Java plugin, and we can just pass in plugin because we did it with our constructor right up the top right here. passing plugin. The second argument is the actual bucket runnable, and this is going to be a new runnable. And then you put in open curly brace and press enter. Next, arg2 will be how many seconds or how many ticks until this runnable starts. And we're starting it right away. And then the second one will be how many ticks do you want it to repeat of? What's the actual, like, every 20 seconds, every whatever, blah. So there's different ways we can do this. We can make it run every second, and our bar will go down every second. In the plugin I showed you before the video, it did it every tick. So just for now, we'll do every second, and I'll show you guys the two different formulas that you can use. Once you have that in, you can see this red underline. If you hover over the red underline, you'll see the add unimplemented methods. Go ahead and add that in, remove the comment, and let's get to coding this runnable. Up at the top, we want to add three different variables, I should say. One will be the int count, and this is set to equal -1. So this count is going to handle our messages. So every 20 seconds, the count will go up and a new message will display. And then we'll have two doubles here, a double progress that will set equal to 1.0, and a double time will set equal to 1.0 divided by, we'll put it in parentheses for right now, divided by 20. So what is progress? What is time? The boss bar runs on a progress, and the progress goes from a scale of 0 to 1.0. It's sort of similar to health. If you put above 1.0, you'll get an error. So it has to be between 0 and 1.0. 1.0 being the bar is max, 0 being the bar is empty. Now, what am I saying with time? So every single time this thing ticks, the time goes down, and we're dividing it by 1 over 20. We're minusing it by 1 over 20, and that's because we wanted our boss bar to change every 20 seconds. If you wanted it to change every 60 seconds, it'll be 1 over 60. It's just a formula for the second tick. Now, this formula will only work if you have it ticking every 20 ticks. So every 20 ticks is 1 second, meaning we'll minus it by 1 over 60. And in 60 seconds, this boss bar will be empty. It's just a little simple formula to use. Now, if you wanted the boss bar to change every tick, change this to 0, and then all you're going to do is times this by 20. I'm trying to explain this the best I can, but if you have it like this and you have the tick to 0, then the boss bar will empty its whole bar in 60 seconds. Similarly, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. Now, I'm going to make it update every second, because why not? So I'm going to change this down to 20, and we're going to divide this by, we'll change it every 30 seconds. So, every 30 seconds, our bar is going to change its message. So let's get to the actual message. The first thing we want to type inside the runnable is bar.setProgress, and we're setting the progress to progress. And this is what our progress is. This is what the bar is. If I go into my server again, this bar right here is changing the progress every tick. It's going down just a little bit, and that's just the divided value it's going down by. So set that progress first, and then next we want to actually set these messages. So switch, we're putting this in a switch statement, switch count. If the case is -1, all we want to say in here is break. We don't care about it. So if it's -1, which is what we set it to, we don't really care because we already have the message set up here in the create bar. However, if the case is 0, we want to change that color and we want to change the title. Oh, so yeah, we'll do it down here. We'll say bar.setColor, taking a bar color, of course, and we'll set the color to pink, and then we'll say bar.setTitle to format, which is our method right here, and we'll say, I don't know, pink at D at L, like this video, and then we'll say break. Now you can add in as many messages as you want. I think I'm just gonna add in like 2 more. So if the count is 1, we'll say that, and count is 2, say this again. We'll change the colors around, make this blue, make this green. Keep the message the same. You guys can change it around however you like. And then if the count is 3, we don't want to say anything. We want to say default. And we're going to change the colors again, but to be a little different this time. We're going to change it to what we have it up here. So we're going to change it to this message. So we're changing the message to our default message, and we're changing the color back to red. Also in here, we're going to say count equals -1. And then for this all to make sense, we need to finish outside of our switch statement. We need to write progress equals progress minus time. And then if the progress is less than equal to 0, we can say count ++ and then set progress back to 1. Alright, now that we have all the code done, this is all the code that we need in this class. Once we have that code done, I can actually kind of explain it to you. So our progress starts at 1, our count starts at -1. Doesn't matter what our message looks like, we already created it up here. We set the default message in this create bar method right here. So the first time it runs, it sets the progress to what we have up here, which is 1. This will create the full bar effect, how the bar will be completely full. I'll go in here into this switch statement, and our case at the moment, our count is -1, so I won't do anything. Next, I'll go skip this entire switch statement. I'll go down into here to progress equals progress minus time. And what we're saying in this message, when this change right here, is basically we're just minusing, we're taking 1.0 and we're minusing it by 1 divided by 30, which, like I said, in 30 seconds, the whole bar will be clear. Next, we're saying if the progress is less than or equal to 0, that means the bar is empty. If the bar is empty, we want to move the count up from -1 to 0, and we want to set the progress back to 1.0. So, for example, if the bar is empty, the count got moved up to 0, the progress got set back to 1.0, and we go back through this loop, and it sets the progress to 1.0, and it goes back through the count, and what does it do? It goes to case 0, and it changes the message. It changes this message to this. And then it goes back through and does the whole thing again, changes this message, this message, this message. Ooh. And then it finally gets back down to default where we set it back to -1, and it goes through the whole thing again. And that right there is all we need to do in this class. We already get this little error up here because we didn't use this variable. For just right now, I guess you just create a getter and setter. Definitely, if you wanted to use that later on, you could get and set the message. But to make this whole thing work, let's hop back in our main, and we need to do a few things in here. First thing we need to do up here is say public bar. We need to make an instance of this bar class that we just created, and in our on enable, we need to say bar equals new bar. Pass in this, so that'll create our new bar, and we can just say bar dot create bar. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Go into your bar class, and inside the create bar, we need to type in cast. So after we create that bar, we need to cast that bar. All right, so once you create it, make sure you run that runnable. So our create bar is going to run that runnable, and that's all you need to do. One last thing was add in that join event, so implements listener. Put that in there, and we'll just register get server, the get plugin manager. Dot register events. This we'll put this on join in our main class just to save time. So the player join event. And what we're going to say here is if the bar, we'll say if bar dot get bar dot get players dot contains event dot get player, and we want to say put an exclamation point here and we'll say if it doesn't contain. So if the bar dot get player doesn't contain our player, then we want to add that player to our bar. So bar dot add player event dot get player, and then just like that we should be all done. If you want to add in this following code, this code would make it so when you do /reload, the bar will not break. So we'll say if bucket dot get online players dot size is greater than 0, then we say for loop of player online bucket dot get online players bar dot add on, and then import all that. So this code right here will make it so when you do /reload, the bar will not break and you'll play with the rejoin. So if anyone's online while the server is reloading, then they'll just be added back to that bar and everything will be fine. Before we run this on the server, we will need to add in that plugin.yml. And once you have this plugin.yml added in the server, you should be good to go. I'm going to cut to where I have the plugin running. So I can see you guys in a few seconds. Alright, now in the server, you're going to see something a little funny. It's you're going to see 2 BossBars, and that's because it's 2 plugins. This is the plugin that the top one is the plugin that we coded, and the bottom one is the one that I coded before, recording this video in the beginning. So I did it this way because I want to show you guys the difference between the ticks and the difference between seconds. So the top one is the one we coded, like I said, and this one is running on seconds. So every single second it will update. The bottom one is the one that I coded, and this one updates every tick. So you guys can see the different kind of style you have here, where one updates every tick, one updates second. I mean, really not that big of a difference if you're piggy to how it looks. I mean, you can go ahead and change it. Now, probably because the reload messed it up a little bit, but like I said, it's really easy to change it to ticks. I'll go over it real quick. All you're doing is changing this, so 30 times 20, and then you're changing the 20 to a 0, and that's all you have to do to change it to ticks. Before I end the video, let's go ahead in our onDisable and just throw in a little code real quick, and that's to be bar dot get bar dot remove all, and that's just going to remove the entire bar when the server is shutting down or reloading. So if you did enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see for the next episode. If you did join the Discord, you can let me know in the Discord. I have a channel for it, and I'm gonna probably make my next episode over Poppy, which is Placeholder's API, or Vault, some dependency. And that's a lot of people want to see is like, how do you do dependencies? And I might just show you a video on that. And there's 2 different ways that we do that. One using Maven and one using just adding it like a Spigot jar. But I'll show you guys how to use that in the next episode. See you guys later.